Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Bellingham. We're delighted you're joining us. My practice is to offer a gratitude, and today is a very special day because my teacher for the last 25 years has died. His name, Thich Nhat Hanh. He passed away on Friday, and so my deep gratitude goes to him and his teachings. And I'll tell you more about it when it's my turn to talk. But right now, I'd like to send you over some really uplifting music from these two, Amber and Kathy. So enjoy.
Today and every day, I'm gonna dwell upon the good. Today and every day, I'm gonna dwell upon the light. Today and every day, I'm gonna dwell upon the peace. Today I'm finding gratitude for all that's right. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Dwell upon the love. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the grace. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the joy. Today I'm seeing God in each and every face. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. Out there, we're so glad you're tuned in, whether you're here live with us or at another time. Will you go ahead and let us know where you're from? Say good morning and check in out there. I'm in the
So glad to see the few that are here to help make this service happen. And know that I am not that far away. We're always connected by heart and soul with all of you, all around Bellingham, all around the world. And we're so glad that we can be here together. I feel the connection deep in my soul, and I hope you'll join me. I'm Wanda Maddox, the practitioner for the day, and join me for a prayer. Goodness and beauty follow me. Peace and joy accompany me. Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with the realization of love and perfection. Yes, indeed, my soul is welcome here. Every soul is welcome here. And I hold that knowing as I open my heart, my entire being, to hearing the beautiful words and wonderful, inspiring message of truth that Dr. Andrea will be bringing us soon. I know that each of us feels the love, and we have been filled to overflowing with joy, and we are grateful, deeply grateful for this truth and for the opportunity to share this close connection today together. And so it is.
May I never lose my wonder. 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 Let's sing that together. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 May I never lose. May I never lose my wonder. May I never lose my wonder. May I never lose my wonder. With this heart I will be opening wide, turning inside. I am listening. With this love I will lead. With this grace I will breathe. Deepening peace, fear I release. I am ready to receive. Spirit, know my name. Call me home and light these darkened days. Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. With these eyes I will see. With this heart I will be opening wide, turning inside. I am listening. With this love I will lead. With this grace I will breathe. Deepening peace, fear I release. I am ready to receive. Spirit, know my name. Call me home. Light these darkened days. Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Spirit, know my name. Spirit, know my name. Call me home and light these darkened days. Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Oh, let love be our legacy. Yes, let love be our legacy.
Thank you. So, I mentioned that I have had Thich Nhat Hanh as a teacher for 25 years. I've been a Science of Mind student for 47, so it gives you some sense of the trajectory of my life. And I wanted to just honor him and tell you a little bit about why his teachings are threaded into the Science of Mind teachings for me. So I'm going to begin with one of the practices that we learn in that tradition, and they're very bell-centric. They believe that the bell is the voice of the Buddha when it's invited properly. And so I'm going to invite the bell 3 times, and I'm going to give you what we say silently to ourselves as the bell is being invited. So this is what we say. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of this bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Breathe. Breathe. So, for me as a Science of Mind minister, because I had been a minister for a number of years when I went to France to learn from this Vietnamese Zen master how to die well, the teachings were unfamiliar and yet very, very simple. The focus of Thich Nhat Hanh's work, of course, aligned with the Sutras of the Buddha, and in particular, his emphasis to lay practitioners in particular was to practice mindfulness, which has become now a buzzword, right? But at the time, 25 years ago, it was a new word, and it was a word that needed some explaining. And so during that time that I was in Plum Village, learning from the monastics there as well as Thich Nhat Hanh, who we all call Thai, which means teacher, we learned how to eat mindfully. So we were encouraged to chew every bite 30 times, which was an interesting practice because oatmeal's hard to do. But it was a learning for me to slow down and be present with the gift of the food, the gift of all the people who had brought that food, prepared that food, and offered that food to me. So it was great practice. In daily life, the suggestion is that you chew the first bite 30 times, because after all, we have to go to work. The second practice we learned was to, anytime we heard a bell or a chime, to stop and take 3 mindful breaths. And I can still remember the absolute humiliation of being in Plum Village after about 4 days. And of course, they have chiming clocks everywhere so that everyone gets to practice mindfulness. And I've been hearing impaired since I was a child. And so I'm talking to someone and I don't hear the chime. And so I continued talking, even though once I looked at the person I was talking to, they were frozen. And then I looked around and everyone had stopped. And my voice was the only thing in the room. Oh, well, mindfulness is a practice, perfection-free zone, right? So mindfulness of eating, mindfulness of breath, whenever we can bring ourselves back to the breath. So let's say you set an alarm clock to get yourself up in the morning. How different it is to practice in this way. And so instead of leaping out of bed, you listen to the alarm, maybe you turn it off, but you take 3 mindful breaths and then get up and then begin your day. So there were practices of walking meditation where we were encouraged to pay attention to every single step. Have you done that? It's so cute, we all fell over. Because to do that, to really pay attention to your breath, sometimes means you're not paying attention to your balance. And so very fun to learn that one. So the time with him went on, and what happened for me, and I'm sure to many people, is by the end of my time, I had entered into, unbeknownst to me, because I was being held in the consciousness of Plum Village, but when I went home, I realized that I had developed a state of illumination. And it became obvious at the Charles de Gaulle airport, which was, of course, a madhouse. This was pre-COVID by a long shot. And so there were people of all persuasions from all over the world, all talking at once, all rushing about with baggage and all that. And I was doing walking meditation in a total state of bliss. And I came home, and that lasted for about a month. And in the learning of illumined states, there's definitely a tradition of people having momentary satori, momentary illumination, and then gradually having it fade. So that happened to me. But fortunately for me, Thich Nhat Hanh came to the United States just a bare month and a half after I had left France. And he came to Spirit Rock, which is my best friend Jack Cornfield's retreat center, and he was the featured speaker along with Jack. And so the moment I saw Thich Nhat Hanh walking very slowly, I burst into tears and fell to the ground in gratitude that I hadn't lost my teacher and I hadn't lost my awareness. I simply was needing to move it into daily life. And that's been the essence of my practice ever since, is trying to live this understanding of how to be fully present with myself in life. And why is that important? Well, he taught me, and perhaps you've read some of his books and you know, that what happens when we slow ourselves down and come in fully into the present moment, we understand that first, everything is interconnected. Everything. All people, all species, all plants, the minerals, the trees, everything is interconnected. We can feel it. We can feel ourselves being held in that awareness. And second of all, the only place we're going to find heaven, the traditional understanding of heaven, which is the place that passes all understanding of peace, and dwell in that peace, is if we bring ourselves to the here and now, right here, right now. And in that moment, when we're fully focused, there's nothing wrong. Even with the sorrows of the world, even though we know we will take action to alleviate those sorrows in our personal life and the life of others, in the moment we're present, all that is present with us, and it is beautiful and powerful and filled with peace. So of course for me it's a lifelong practice to practice in this way. And I wanted to honor him by sharing with you part of my story. It's just a small piece. And encourage you in your own ways, because Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings are not right for everybody, and I've never intended for everyone to be like me. I can remember when I came back and I started talking about doing 30 chews of every bite. One of my congregants at the time was indignant. It's like, this is stupid, and stormed off. She came back. But I realized this is not for everyone, and yet for me, it's been so potent and so powerful to seek to live more and more in the present moment where spirit resides. That's how I think of it in science and mind terms, that I will do this practice all my life, and hopefully more and more fully. So that's my very brief synopsis of an incredible journey with an amazing teacher, a Buddha on earth, who has now passed away. And what they are saying in Plum Village and all the monasteries around the world is we are his continuation. Meaning, as we practice, we honor everything that he has gifted into the world. And so, thank you, Thich Nhat Hanh. So, in a way, what I wanted to talk about today for my regular old talk is relates to all that I just shared. And the theme for today is, what are you telling the world? And one of the things that Thich Nhat Hanh was able to illuminate, it was something that you probably know, and I certainly knew at an internal level, but this is one of the quotes from him. Every thought you produce, think about it, every thought you produce, anything you say, and any action you take bears your signature. Bears your signature. And so there's a saying in his tradition, my actions are my only true belongings. They're the ground upon which I stand. But I would add, my thoughts and my speech, as well as my actions, are my only true belongings. So the challenge with that is, do you know what you're saying? Do you know what you're telling the world with your thoughts, which go out into the quantum field that we all share, the morphogenetic field of all sacred humans? Do you know what you're speaking out into that world as well as thinking? And are you paying attention to your actions so that they speak of the highest integrity that you know for yourself at any given moment? So that they are the signature that you would want to be remembered by as you pass from this life. And that's a tall order, and it's a really powerful teaching to begin to pay attention to what you're telling yourself and what you're telling the world by means of that. And so, since our theme for the month is Start Where You Are, I thought, well, no better way to talk about how to be in the world consciously and deliberately than to start here by paying attention to our thoughts, our speech, and our actions. And so one of my early teachers was a very incredible teacher and a very scary person to me in my life at that point. Sometimes our teachers are fierce. And his name was Raymond Charles Barker, and he's written a number of incredible books. They're still very relevant, although written in the 60s, still so good. So this is one of the things he said. Think good thoughts, yes, but realize that good thoughts on the surface with a nasty disposition below the surface are merely another coat of paint on the same old house. So what he's pointing to here is this teaching, the Science of Mind teaching, is not a teaching to be lived at the surface, to look good out in the world. It's not something to just be talking, sweet affirmations out and then going home and gossiping about other people, or really trashing yourself or trashing anything, really. And so that is, of course, the challenge of the Science of Mind, is that we are inviting people to not just say things, but to embody them, to take them in and allow them to transform the places that are limited or coming from old habitual ways of thinking and speaking and acting, and really transform those through an embodied understanding of a new thought. I was at the CSL convention this last week, and one of the speakers was talking about psychosclerosis, the hardening of attitude. Psychosclerosis. And I thought that's really part of what I'm speaking to, is what happens to us as sacred humans as we're developing. Of course, we're around the people that are raising us, and we're around our schoolmates who are being raised by others, and we're around our teachers. And as we are young children, we're kind of like the antenna that receives the signal of what these people are telling us, and what they're thinking, what they're saying, and what they're doing. And we're just little receivers, so we don't have a judgment when we're young. We're just like, oh, the important people of my life are saying this, or doing this, or thinking this. Must be right. So we take it in, we receive it, and then it becomes part of who we are. And as we develop, often what happens is we get into high school, and then maybe we go to college, and all of a sudden we're encountering people who are like, well, that's a stupid thought. Or why are you acting that way? Or why did you say that? That's racist. Why did you say that? That's so unkind. What are you doing? And we have a chance at last, because we're away from where we were, to go, oh, wow, that is racist, or that is not appropriate, and that doesn't match what I really think, and so we often go through a growth spurt in our understanding about life and about what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're saying, and what we're acting. But often there's still places inside of us that are filled with psychosclerosis. We have habitual ways of thinking that maybe don't have to do with the outer so much, but they might have a lot to do with ourselves and our family and things of that sort. And so for us, we need to really find ways to change the talk tracks inside of us, to change the thinking, and certainly to change what we're speaking out into the world about ourselves and others, and what we actually are doing, so that we come into a place of integrity, of lining up with our truest nature, which, regardless of the programming we received, I truly believe that all sacred humans, at their root, are good. They're not broken like Genesis would have us believe. They were not born in sin, but rather they were born with original goodness. And it may be way covered over, but it's still there. And so for me, I have asked the question because I've encountered in my long years as a minister many people who have studied spiritual things, they have practiced meditation, they have tried to change the habitual ways of thinking and speaking and acting, and yet, with all that, they still are stuck with a talk track that is incredibly negative. Do you know anybody like that? And so the question for me as a minister who's been practicing a long time to embody and to live the integrity of who I am in truth, it brings up a really, I think, important question for all of us, which is, well, how do you change that? I mean, how does that happen? Still learning this mic, sorry. For me, I thought about my good friend, Susan Given Seymour, and I have her permission to tell you a little bit about her journey. I think about how Susan, as a newly hired person for the Lummi Nation, was one of the only white people in a non-white world. And her job was to educate about diabetes and fetal alcohol syndrome and all kinds of things like that. And she went to her boss, who was also white, and said, how do I do this? I don't know how to be in this community. I don't know how am I going to offend people? I don't know what to say and what not to say, or do and not do. I need help. And the best that he could say to her was, you need to find a mentor. You need to find a mentor from the tribe, from the nation, who will assist you in learning the ways. And so she was like, well, how do I even do that? You know, do I just walk up to someone and say, will you mentor me? That doesn't seem cool. So she was presenting her first training with her boss about fetal alcohol syndrome in a conference. And she was kind of the one that, you know, did all the background stuff, and he talked, but then she also shared. And after that conference, which was the first of its kind, I think, for the Lummi folk, one of the elders walked up to her and said to both her and her boss, this was so good. We need to do this again at least once a year. And Susan, you need to be the one that does it. And so from then, she was taken under the wing of this mentor and began to learn how to be without offending, but how to be in a deep way with a culture and a people that were very different than what she had experienced. For me, that's a really potent story because it tells the tale of how we do change those negative, habitual ways of being. And really what we have to do is immerse ourselves. That's what Susan did. She immersed herself. She had an intention to learn how to relate and connect and be one with this group of people that she'd never encountered before. And she became integrated because of her intention and the kindness and the willingness that others had to help her in understanding how to be in this community. You know, you and I have that challenge right now. I don't know if you're aware of it. You probably are. But you know, we're being asked to look at diversity and inclusion in a whole new way for many of us. Those of us who have wandered around as white people and not really understood the difficulties that many people of color have faced through the years, just really not awake to their suffering in a deep way. And we've been called into action. We've been called to really go deep and understand that suffering so that we can be part of the solution rather than part of the problem by remaining asleep and in the habitual ways we've been thinking. As kind and compassionate as they may have been, if they're not informed by someone else's suffering and the difficulties that they face, we can't be fully there for them, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say. So we've been called to that. And I've been called to that in a very deep and profound way as a leader. And it's been a difficult and beautiful and strong learning for me, just like it was for Susan. I'm in that same place now with our larger society, and I think probably you might be too. And so in the weeks ahead, we'll be talking more about what we're learning and the habitual ways we've been thinking that may be not so helpful, even though we might have thought they were. But one of the things I carry about all of this, about what are you telling the world, and how to be with other people who are different, and how to understand and be a source of the solution, I've brought to you in a poem, which I'll close with and explain a little bit about it instead of a prayer this time. And this is a poem from Martha Postlethwaite, and it's called Clearing. And so I'll speak the poem, and then I'll tell you why it's important to this discussion of what are you telling the world. So here's the poem. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into you, into your cupped hands, and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. So, you and I have a particular emphasis. Emerson said the soul's emphasis is always right. So my emphasis and yours may be different. And yet what I know about yours, as I know about mine, is it's right for you. And it's longing to be expressed through you, not only in kind words or good thoughts. Those are all wonderful. But at some point, we need to take the soul's emphasis and apply it, put it into the world, put it into action. So you know, if you've been listening, that I am called to work deeply to help people transform the world and heal climate change. That's my emphasis. Might not be yours, but with my whole heart, that's part of what I am called to do. And so here in our center, we have an Earth Stewards team, and we've joined a group called Earth Ministries, and we're part of a whole connected group of people who are spiritual, green faith, who are really all called to this work. So in closing, what I want to ask you is, have you cleared a place in the dense forest of your life and been able to sit patiently so that what your soul's emphasis can arise? I hope so. Let's have the musicians come back, and we'll have some beautiful music, and I'll return with some announcements about what our center's doing in case you're interested.
Yes, let me put my guitar strap back on. Well, this next song, and it will be our last song for today, is called One Step at a Time, and I think it fits well with Andrea's talk, just starting where we are and thinking about one step at a time, and also the mindfulness practice of that too. Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time, no doubt about it. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain. Gonna climb this mountain. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling.
one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time.
Leave behind what's weighing me down.
Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I found. The sky is calling. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I found. The sky is calling. Gonna climb this mountain. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
Just one step.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
So, a couple of things you may want to know about. One is happening today at noon, so just a little while from now. And it is a Zoom offering that our practitioners are offering in a series of free workshops that they are inviting you to come and be a part of. So the links for all of the workshops are available on our website, and you go there and you'll find them very easily. Today, the workshop is about spirit, about the presence of the divine in all of our lives, that Ernest Holmes referred to as the thing itself. And so these workshops are all from noon to 1:30, and they're in the comfort of your own home with Zoom. And it's not just practitioners talking to you. There's a teaching piece for sure, but there's also a desire to engage in conversation and interaction with each other. So it's a really nice way to talk about and learn about and begin to look at psychosclerosis. So today, noon. And then next week, on the 30th, is the second of these workshops, and it is talking about the law of cause and effect and how that works in our lives and how we can work with it. So we'll keep you updated on all of these different workshops as they come along, and I really invite you to come. It's lovely that they're offering it for free, that it's a real opportunity to learn in a very lovely way. Also, coming up very shortly on February 5th is a prosperity class, but it's not really about just money. You know, in the teachings of the science of mind for years and years in the old days, that was the focus, is like manifesting money. But we've moved a long way as an organization and as individuals within that organization. And so actually, this class is about developing a vision for your life and then teaching very pragmatic, simple steps on how to turn the vision into a lived reality. This class is 7 weeks long. It's on Saturday mornings, and it starts February 5th at 10 a.m. It is offered by Zoom, so you can take it from wherever you are. It's led by one of our senior practitioners, Joanne Allison, and Philip Flores, one of our other practitioners, and they are really excited to be offering this gift of how to take a vision and then step by step bring it into reality. So I hope you'll sign up for that, and you can do that by, let me see how they want you to do that. You can register on our website homepage, and registration is $45, and then there are some materials to purchase as well. So think about it. It starts in a couple of Saturdays. Would really like you to consider it. The other thing that's really exciting, because as I said, my soul's emphasis is about let's save the planet, okay? That way we're all saved. One of my wonderful congregants who has been a client scientist for years and years is offering another book study, and it's based on the work of Catherine Hayhoe, which Catherine is a remarkable teacher and educator of all kinds of people, including she has a whole bunch of stuff for children, but she also is a climate scientist, and she wrote a book called Saving Us, a climate scientist's case for hope and healing in a divided world. So that's the book we're going to be using in this book study. It's going to be on 5 Mondays from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. It starts February 21st, and so it goes the 21st and the 28th of February, and then March 7th, 14th, and 21st. And you do need to sign up for this one in a different way. You can register for free at Ticket Tailor. And to do that, you can go into our announcements and you'll find how to do that a little bit. It's not hard at all. I tried it out. But if you have any trouble, please contact the office and we'll help you get registered. This is absolutely free. It's a book study. You just need the book so that you can read. And you need to register because Kathy will give you the assignments for each week so that you can read ahead and be able to discuss what they're covering in each of these wonderful study sessions. Last but not least, our women's retreat. I had a delightful exchange with Karen Drucker, who is one of the doyens of New Thought music and a wonderful person. And she was at the convention I was at, and I was telling her about the women's retreat. She said, "Where is it?" And I said, "Whidbey Island." She said, "Whidbey Island is on my bucket list. Can I be your musician?" And I said, "At some point. Not during COVID, but at some point we'd love to have you." But she was delighted that we're there, and I am too. So, and many of the people who have already registered are as well. Because of COVID, they're taking extraordinary precautions about us turning up there on their beautiful land. So we've already filled all the rooms. And we've started a waiting list. And if you'd like to be on that waiting list, quite often people who register in January have something come up that they can't actually attend the retreat after all. So we usually go through our waiting list. So you can put yourself on the waiting list by going to our website. And you can also still register as a camper. And that means bring your own tent, bring your sleeping bag, and there are showers and bathrooms very close to where the camping area is. So if you'd like to do that, those spaces are still available. The retreat is August, let me remind myself, 5th through the 7th, so first weekend of August. And we'd love to have you if you're a camper. And in the meantime, I'm delighted that so many of you want to come. So I thank you for being here. I'm going to offer the bell one more time and invite you to follow your breathing. And I hope to see you again very soon. May you be peaceful. May you be free. Thank you.